Hey everybody, my name is Tyler.
My name is Brian.
And my name is James.
And this is episode 1 of Stories from Storage, a little podcast that we're going to be trying to do, where we're going to be focusing on stories, telling stories, and really what makes us want to tell stories. And to intro a little story. Go figure.
Do your thing.
So many years ago, I was at summer camp with my Boy Scout troop. And my friend Rudy and I were tent buddies for the week, and that meant we spent damn near every minute of every day together. We had 3 of our 4 required merit badge classes together, so we would wake up, and then we would pretty much be next to each other for the whole day until we got back to camp later on that night. And essentially that meant that we got really tired of each other pretty quickly.
You're just close quarters the entire time?
Just the whole time. We're like, we had the classes together, we ate together and everything, so we really got tired of each other about halfway through the week. So we were trying to come up with ways to entertain each other and not rip each other's heads off. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to start telling Rudy about this movie I had recently seen. Spoiler alert, it wasn't really a movie that I had just seen. I decided to make up a story on the spot as I went, and I figured I would be able to bullshit him for like maybe 10 minutes and get him to think that what I was talking about was a real movie. Well, I start telling this story, and he's enthralled, and I was having fun too telling it. And then about 2 hours and 48 minutes later, I revealed to Rudy that what I had been telling the entire time was something that I had been making up on the fly, and he was floored by that concept, that I was able to make something up on the fly that was coherent enough to seem like a movie that I saw on TV. And he said that, wow, you should like do that as a thing, like as your job. That was impressive. And that's sort of where I got the idea to really want to be a storyteller as my career. And that's sort of the first kind of seeds of what ended up becoming this podcast.
So you kind of lied to your friend? Yeah,
I lied. Mm-hmm. Just not even a little one, just a giant lie for like 3 hours.
Did he believe you ever again of anything?
When I told him I loved him, and I asked him to marry me, he seemed to be a little shocked.
Okay,
but
we have some stuff to talk about. And well, basically, I think what we want to do with this podcast, hopefully, is to tell stories like the one Tyler just told. Because we love telling stories. We all went to film school. We just graduated. We don't have jobs.
Don't tell them that yet.
And what we want to do is we want to be able to make as many short films and scripts as we can to get practice and get our names out there in some way. And what we're hoping to do with this is to be able to tell the stories that we've experienced over our last 22 years, 21 years.
I'm only 21.
21 years. And create them or turn them into scripts.
For every episode, we're going to have a prompt that leads us into the episode. We're going to have all week to think about it. For the prompt for this week was best or worst experience in a movie theater. And I'm still having trouble thinking of mine. So Brian, you're going to go first.
I'm going to go first? Okay. All right. So my story, going back to about, I think it was, I want to say sophomore year of high school. Mm-hmm. So this is looking back, this is the worst experience I've ever had at a movie theater, but also the best because it's just a crazy fucking story. So looking back, I had a date. This is one of my, probably one of my first major dates in high school. Ooh. And yeah. And so, we went to see The Blind Side, which was actually I love that movie, mainly for this reason. So we went to see The Blind Side with a bunch of friends. It was like a 6-person date.
Damn.
I think. It was like it was a six people went. And so we go into the movie, we're sitting down, we're just all talking, having fun. Midway into the movie, these assholes come into the theater, and it's like normal, just rowdy kids that are being loud. And they sit right next to us. So to give you an idea, you have the first 5 of us, none of us want to talk to these guys. But the one guy at the other end, do we name names?
I mean, that's up to you. You could give a first name.
Okay, one of a friend.
You could like just rhyme his name with something else.
All right, Schmoner.
Oh no, is it Connor? I know.
It's a different Schmoner.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I mean Schmoner. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Schmoner. Schmoner. He likes to speak his mind, and these guys sat down next to him, and they were making, like I said, making noise, and he basically told them to shut up. They didn't like that, so they immediately were like, okay, well, let's fight in here. And we're in a theater with like 30 old people. And so we're sitting there going, no, we're not going to fight you. We just want to watch the damn movie. We want to watch The Blind Side with the big guy, and he's going to be real nice and do football
Sandra
stuff.
Bullock will save the day.
Yeah, Sandra will do all the stuff. And so we're waiting for them to leave, and eventually they just get tired of us ignoring them, so they leave. At the end of the movie, we're like, do you think they're still here? Are they gonna like jump us or anything?
You
and then
get shanked?
right as the movie's ending, we hear the door open in the back. And mind you, this theater has no security at all. It's a horrible, just small local chain theater. And so we're waiting, and then we hear them just go, fight us. We're like, which doesn't make any sense.
Really far away.
Yeah, really.
They're like they're jazzed enough to want to fight, but they're not brave enough to actually like get in your face. So they're like from 30 feet away. Raiders.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time, we're terrified because we're thinking, oh no, they're gonna jump us right as we get out. And so we wait for all the old people to leave, and we get up right as the crowd goes, and we jump in with them and walk out. And so the whole time we have this like amoeba of old people around us, and they an old amoeba, and they're and the I'm gonna call them the buttholes. Were just sitting there pissed off because we outsmarted them, as if they didn't think of that.
For those meddling kids.
And so we get out into the main area where there's all the popcorn and games and stuff. And so they can't do anything because there's tons of people. And so we're just waiting there. And at this time, we couldn't drive. So we were waiting for our parents to get there. And so Schmoner, he was the first one to get a call from his dad going, hey, I'm here. Come on, bud, let's go. And so we go, okay, bye, Connor. His date said bye to him. And he walks out the door. And we're just sitting there talking for a while, for like probably 5 minutes. And then we get a call from his dad to his girlfriend at the time, and he's like, hey, Connor's dad, we just got jumped outside.
Jesus.
The dad and the kid, Schmoner's dad, Schmoner Senior.
Not Schmoner Senior.
He got jumped as well.
Jeez.
Police were outside, and the kids were nowhere to be found. And so we're terrified. We ended up getting picked up, and we were fine. But then that night, all the parents called, and now that place has security out the wazoo because of what happened.
I can imagine.
It was nuts.
They almost beat up Schmoner Senior.
Mm-hmm.
He's the chairman of the school board. You don't mess with Schmoner
I
Senior.
realize how many Schmoners I know in my life.
What? That's okay, because it's James's turn to tell his theater story. Make it a good one.
Shit, how am I gonna top Schmoner and Schmoner Senior getting jumped by some hooligans?
Schmoner's okay, so if you're worrying about that.
I wasn't, but we're good.
Just up the ante, we got into a full-on war with some people.
Gunfight. Lives were lost. Blood was spilt.
Right before the new Pixar movie.
We went into Cars, and it never ended. The War of 1815.
The War of Ka-Chow.
The War of Ka-Chow. Ka-Chiga.
Anyway.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so... Oh, man. This is tough, but... So I might change my mind, in the middle of this.
So is it, the best or the worst? Is it,
I'm just trying to think, of one that was, bad because of the movie or whatever, or, the audience. Mm-hmm. But... For the bad ones that I'm thinking of, shitty things happen afterwards, and so I have a bad experience with that movie because of it.
Well, tell it.
Okay,
absolutely tell it.
Okay, so this one, I don't hate the movie because of it. I thought it was a decent movie. Sausage Party.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother topic. I feel like
we could spend an entire podcast just talking about that.
Yeah, food and existentialism, definitely. But me and my friends went to go see it. We were a little underwhelmed. It was an okay movie, but. Yeah, they got way too high beforehand. Some of them started falling asleep because they thought it was going to be a lot trippier than they thought. Then after the movie, this is where the shitty part comes in. One of my friends, Kevin, or I'm gonna say his name because he didn't do anything wrong, like Schmotter.
Schmotter didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
Schmotter got jumped.
Smarter had wrong done upon him.
Okay, I'll just say Smooth Guy Kev because that's his nickname.
Much better.
What does Smooth Guy Kev do now?
He's
What
smooth.
Is he just smooth?
That's his job.
Okay.
So yeah, Smooth Guy Kev and our friend Meredith,
like
they
a
were supposed to come to the movie, but they didn't
soft
come for
drink
whatever
mascot.
reason.
Smooth guy Kev. Drink a Coke.
It's like those new Dr. Pepper commercials. Anyway, continue.
God.
So yeah, they pull up. This is partially why he's so smooth because he rides his Harley everywhere. So he pulls up with our friend Meredith, like in the theater in Astoria that we were seeing this movie at, and at the corner of my eye as we're walking away from the movie theater, I see some guy just sitting on the sidewalk in a shitty fedora, and he's just like yelling at people, whoever walks by, and just calling people fat, calling people just like
Dad?
no fat. That'd be sad if he was like Dad.
Desperately searching.
No, yeah, he was just trying to get a rise out of anybody, clearly. So we just like walk away from him, like in front of like this Applebee's on this corner where Smooth Guy Kev and Meredith are, and we start talking about like just what we're gonna do after that. And I'm gonna call this guy what's it called? Not Fedorable, because he was wearing a fedora, but it wasn't Fedorable.
Dude with a fedora wasn't adorable.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not Fedorable.
Adorable.
So he comes stumbling like into the Applebee's, and then like they kick him out because they don't want his drunk ass in there. Then he comes out and starts talking to us, but he's just looking at Smooth Guy Kev, and he's like, "That's a nice bike you got there," and Kev's just like, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a Harley." Be ashamed if something happened to it. And
Who is this guy?
Did he like tip his fedora and then walk out?
Oh my god, I wish he tipped
Hold
his
it down
fedora.
over his eyes, flurl the trench coat up over his head, and walk out.
Smoke bomb down and gone.
I would much prefer that, but this guy just kept antagonizing Smooth Guy Kev and just like saying like, well, things happen, you know, like in a drunk, slurred up way.
Oh my god.
And Kev like, don't fuck with Smooth Guy Kev's bike. Like, plain and simple. He will, like, it's like his baby. He has a motorcycle, like, he has a tattoo of, like, him riding the motorcycle on his forearm.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't
Not
mess
like
with that guy.
Like, from his point of view, not like him on a motorcycle. Like,
I was gonna say. Oh, I thought it was a self-portrait of him riding the motorcycle on his
I said that
forearm.
to someone before,
That's
and
me!
they said the same
I
thing.
think I said that. I think you told
Yeah.
me that part.
So yeah, then Kev keeps passing me his helmet, like he's just about to go down, because this guy keeps antagonizing him and wants to, yeah, like he's talking about like him pushing the bike or touching the bike, and like we don't know whether to take him seriously or not, because he's going back and forth from fucking with Kev and then quoting West Side Story and being like, oh, are you a jet or a shark? Are you a jet or a shark? And he's like snapping, and we're just like, we're trying not to laugh because we don't know what he's going to do if we laugh. But then he goes back to, no, but yeah, you shouldn't leave that bike alone.
Oh my
And
god.
Kev passes me his helmet 3 times, and I'm just like, no, don't give me this.
No,
Like,
you
just-
give me the helmet, you're gonna kill somebody.
Yeah, and we're all just like trying to whisper in his ear. Yo, homie, just take your bike and ride away. This dude is just trying to get into a fight.
Make sure your scarf is flowing behind you. He won't mess with you ever again.
But yeah, so then like this goes on for like 17 minutes, and I don't remember it enough
So
to
he-
describe every single word.
So he's just going back and forth saying, "It'd be a shame if something happened."
Pretty much. And
Transitions from the creepy guy from Warriors to just some fortune teller.
Warriors, what you do with that bike?
Yeah,
Don't leave it out in the sun. The pain will trip.
Except he was wearing a fedora that like he probably thought was cool and wasn't.
Like most people with fedoras.
That's
Yes.
fedorable.
I'm sorry if anyone likes wearing fedoras.
It's okay. You're allowed to wear your fedora.
Oh yeah, you just
Just
can't wear it
don't
like
be a-
that guy.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
So yeah, then then he starts getting too close to all of us, and my friend Miguel is just trying to like get him to back off, and then like I see him push Miguel, and that you don't know Miguel, but you do not mess with Miguel. He is the sweetest
Just
person.
like you don't mess with smooth guy Kev's Harley.
I was gonna say smooth guy Schmonner.
Smooth Schmai Schmonner Connor.
So then
anyway.
so then I got in between him and Miguel because he pushed him, and I'm not touching him. I'm just trying to like keep his distance.
I just imagine you in the way, like, no.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Just like me being a pacifist, just like, okay, no, this is over. This is like this. Enough of this, please. And then he puts his hands on my neck.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And like starts squeezing, and like I push him away at that point, just like still not doing anything. I'm like,
you're allowed.
Kev, just take the bike and go.
At that point, you're allowed to hit him.
Yeah.
At that point, you're allowed. To hit him.
I don't hit, even though yeah,
the
like
touch for
he
touch rule.
like
Touch
started
for
squeezing
touch.
my neck.
And then you smack.
Yep.
But yeah, I just pushed him away, like made sure he kept his distance, and I'm like, Kev, just take your bike and go. And so Kev does that. And it's funny because we don't have to outrun this guy. He just literally can't walk. Like yeah, I'm not gonna punch a guy who's like just can't even like walk. Pretty
Why?
much.
He won't feel it. He's drunk.
Yeah. Or you can jump on the bike and ride away.
But it's
We'll
like
run him over.
Yeah.
it's like have you ever
Oops,
seen
sorry.
that? Have you ever seen the movie The Other Guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember like how like that guy's just running, screaming like have sex with my wife, and then he just he
You're
pops
gonna
up.
have sex with my wife, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, that guy just like later on in the night, we just see him down like Steinway Street fucking with other people, like because like
God.
yeah, like I said, we walked away. We didn't have to run. We just like walked like a little bit faster to get away from him. And like as we were like driving away later on, we like pull over because we see him like in front of like a strip club fucking with the strippers. Like we're like trying to take a smoke break,
Jeez.
and like he's like we can't hear what he's saying, but he's clearly pissing her off because she like flicks her cigarette at him and like hits his fedora off his head.
Damn.
And then
It's like
he's
his connection to the world.
That's
Yeah.
Oh God. It's like-
and then later on we see him like fucking with some other guys, like, and they're just like all looking at him the same way we were looking at him. So yeah, that's my worst movie going experience. Even though like it was a fine movie, but I
think
can't
most
watch
of-
Sausage Party without thinking of that douche.
not Fedorable,
Now,
dude.
have you seen this guy ever again?
No, I don't want to see him.
He probably got killed that
Do you
night.
think he like that because the fedora is off his head now, like because he got knocked off by the stripper?
Oh,
that
he might have
just
picked it up.
Can't put it on again. Is that like a?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't own a fedora, so listeners, write in it.
You're saying listeners as if we have any.
So mom, as you
Mom,
right
quick,
in.
can you Google if a fedora gets knocked off your head if you ever get to wear it again?
It's
Can you
like-
do me a favor? Just Google that.
And by the way, so I don't think we mentioned this as well. The reason why it's called Stories from Storage is
Oh, right.
because we have a big storage closet in our apartment.
And the acoustics are beautiful. Just listen.
They're okay.
Yeah, it's
They're
not really.
pretty
It's
good.
it's
But-
literally the least shit place in our apartment to record the podcast.
Hey Tyler, what do you got?
So I actually thought of one. Mine was actually on a date as well. Really. So I can't remember what the movie was. I think it was that Guardians movie about the sentient owls that are like.
Oh,
I
Legends
thought
of
you meant Guardians of the.
No, not Guardians of the
Like
Galaxy.
that little movie that came out
No,
recently.
the tiny little indie
There's
project.
Guardians of Gahul or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Legends of the Guardians, like
The-
the owls of
The girl I was with
Yeah.
wanted to see it, and I wanted to smooch her,
That
so
was Zack
we
Snyder.
went to that movie.
Zack Snyder directed that?
Yeah.
Okay, continue. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Me neither. That was really
Interesting.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk about that instead of my story.
Shut up. Go.
It's about owls looking for bigger owls with helmets. Pretty much that movie.
I like to think that Zack Snyder pitched it like that.
That's my
Guys.
friend Drew's quote. Like I just totally ripped that
Okay,
from
let
him. I hope
Tyler
he's
tell the
listening.
story.
Sorry.
It's a movie about owls that talk, looking for bigger owls that talk. But these owls wear helmets. So anyway, I was at the Carmike Theater in my local Carmike Theater, and this was before you could like pre-order tickets and guarantee your seats. And you very gingerly put that water bottle down. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
But See if James can do it.
Better.
Beautiful. But so you couldn't pre-order your seats, so there was no guarantee you would actually have a spot in the theater, but like you should. But they overbooked all the time, just like airplanes. So we get into the theater, right, and it's packed to the gills. Everyone wants to see this fucking owl movie, and I'm like, hey, Chelsea, that's totally her name. Do you want to just sit on the floor and watch the movie? And
watch the movie.
Make out and watch the movie.
Okay.
And she was like, not really. And I was like, me neither. Let's go back out and talk to a manager. So we went back out, and I went and I talked to the manager of this movie theater, right? And he was like, "What's the problem, sir?" And I was like, "Ooh, that's the first time I've ever been called sir." I'm like 14, by the way. So I was super jazzed, but I turned into like a really entitled piece of shit once he called me sir. I was like, "Look, I paid for tickets to see this Guardians movie, right? I need seats to that show. I don't care if you have to send people in to pull people out of the theater so I get my seats." And he's like, "Listen, sir, I totally understand why you're frustrated. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do now that the theater itself is full, but I can get you 2 new free tickets to whatever movie you want to see tonight, and a pass to get 2 free tickets the next time you come, just to pay for the inconvenience." And immediately I felt like a douche, right? Because I was being a dick, and he's just right away was like exactly what you're supposed to do when you're in like the service industry is like solve the problem and then make them feel special. Well, he solved the problem and made me feel special. So we ended up seeing Valentine's Day for the second time. That was our first date, was Valentine's Day. That's why I wanted to tell this story. I figured if I started talking about it, I would remember why this is a story I used to love telling.
So you were just like...
I was not making it up. This was totally a story,
okay.
But I couldn't remember why I loved telling it so much. This is why. Okay. So, the first date I went on with this girl, we watched Valentine's Day, and it was the first time I ever kissed a girl. It was watching that movie. And then the first time I was ever allowed to go on a date on my own with just the girl and no friends and no like chaperones or anything was that date. And then it was funny because the very next date we wanted to see that shitty Guardians movie. All the aforementioned shenanigans happened, and then we went and ended up seeing Valentine's Day again. And it was cool because we didn't have to pay attention that time. But the reason that's such a fondly remembered story is because that's such a crappy movie. That movie is so bad. And it's actually a good segue into what the podcast in general is about. It's because that movie is about a whole bunch of different stories that all work together. And so what we're going to do now is take all of our stories and work them together to make a fresh new story.
But not like Valentine's Day.
Hopefully much better than Valentine's Day.
Because those stories don't work together.
No, those stories are shit.
What's your favorite moment from Valentine's
Day? From Valentine's Day?
Yeah, if you don't remember, make something up right now.
Probably the part where literally his name is Tyler.
Okay.
And he's about to have sex with his girlfriend. They're going to lose their virginity together. And he's over at her house. And the girlfriend's mom is like away at work, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like, we should do it at my house because we have like senior block excusal or whatever. We can get home earlier. Then my mom will get home and we can fuck. And then it'll be great. But he gets to her house before she's gonna get there, and he wants to get it all ready, get everything ready, the vibes all perfect, whatever. So he puts flower petals all over the bed, strips completely naked, because that's what you do when you don't know how to have sex and you're waiting for your girlfriend to show up. You just get naked, without any foreplay. So at least we know it would have been terrible for him the first time. And then he does push-ups because Taylor Lautner told him to do that, because that's what Taylor Lautner did. Whenever he wants to have sex with Taylor Swift in that movie. Taylor Swift's in that movie.
So the Taylors hook up?
Yeah. Taylor Lautner is dating Taylor Swift in that movie.
So, I feel like that was great.
And then also, hang on, I wasn't done.
Okay.
And then he does push-ups to make himself look better. And then he has a song he wrote for her. So he plays the guitar naked in the mirror to practice this song. And then the girl's mom walks in, and they have a really awkward moment where he not only is discovered in his girlfriend's room when he's not supposed to be there, but he's naked in his girlfriend's room with flowers and candles all over the place, playing a guitar. And then when he's running away naked down the street, covering his privates with the guitar, the mom opens the window and yells really loudly, "Tyler, honey, cover your hoo-hoo!" And then that's my favorite part from the movie.
Have you ever heard someone say hoo-hoo before?
No, that's why.
Also, did you make that whole thing up?
No,
Okay,
I promise.
Because I can't trust you after that first story.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they said hoo hoo in like the Owls movie.
Get out! Get out of the closet right now!
I can't. I'm trapped.
We need like a scoreboard one for games.
Ding! How much time did I waste telling that story
Too
about?
much.
Okay.
So this is the fun part, I guess. So what we have to do now is take those 3 stories, try to figure out if there's any connection in them at all, or bits of it that we want to use, and try to create our own story out of that.
I like the idea of Not So Fedorable
So
being a character in the movie.
okay, now not so fedorable, like how James described it. Are you saying like the homeless guy that's drunk with a fedora?
Oh, he wasn't homeless.
Oh, he wasn't homeless.
No, yeah, sorry. He was like
was just a
dressed.
drunk?
He was dressed pretty nicely.
That's what I mean.
Sorry.
Okay.
So like a roving
that
businessman
was
who's
probably my fault.
like
I missed that.
like a businessman whose secret identity is this roaming, manic, crazy person who like bothers kids on dates, but like there needs to be a backstory. You know what I mean? Like,
What he was a guardian of Gahul originally.
he used to be an owl.
He used to be.
That's
an owl.
it, and he's really confused.
I love the idea of not so fedora. I love the image first of all of not so fedorable.
Harassing teenagers.
Well, like for some okay, we got to figure out why he's harassing teenagers. But I love the idea of him wearing a fedora and him wearing beach clothes in, was it Manhattan? Queens. Like I love that image because it's so ridiculous. But then what is he doing there and why? So is he drunk?
Well, what's it called? If we want to shoehorn your story also.
Because we don't necessarily need to have like all 3 of the stories in there. There could be one little element of it that we infuse.
He could have felt emasculated from being jumped by a bunch of teenagers. With his...
Maybe that's what was his name? Schroner? Schmoner Senior has been disgraced because he's like a boxer who was picking up his kid at a movie and he got jumped by a bunch of teenagers and beaten up, and now he's not a boxer anymore. So he roams the streets and harasses teenagers, hoping someday he'll find the teens that beat him up and stole his life from him. So Not So Fedorable used to be a prize fighter.
Okay.
And he got jumped by a bunch of teenagers and beaten up. And then
So is he like was he like the best prize fighter?
I think he was the best prize fighter. But
Queens?
In Queens.
I love how Queens is just a setting.
He was an up and coming Queens fighter, who beat up Queens.
Oh, and Kevin used to be a boxer.
There you go.
Okay.
But I want to clarify, by Queens I mean royalty.
Okay. So you used to be a prize fighter in Queens.
In Queens.
Okay.
And one day after a fight, he was drunk and got beat up by a bunch of teenagers and mugged, and then he lost all his credibility because he couldn't defend himself.
Was this like all over the internet? Is that a time when the internet's a thing?
Yeah, I'd say it could be now. Someone videotaped it and put it on YouTube.
Okay.
I wonder if the mic's picking up me scratching my beard.
I hope so. Okay. So we have so far that he used to be a prize fighter in Queens, gets beat up by these teens on his way home. So he's
Used
leaving.
to be a prize fighter in Queens, got beat up by teens. Now
So-
he roams the street. Do we want to make this a horror film?
Well, I
He's
guess
a
that's
psycho killer who picks off teenagers.
I guess that's a good question, is what kind of genre are we feeling? Because there's some comedic aspects, but I feel like this is going more in the drama.
Yeah, this is getting
Terrible.
dramatic. Well, that's another disclaimer for the podcast, is it won't always be fun and giggles. Sometimes we're going to write really sad stories because the prompts will be a little bit more poignant. How about this? It's the beginning of his character arc. He's a flawed hero. Like he's really good at a thing, but he allows that to occupy all of him. And then once he falls from grace, he needs to figure out a way to find worth again.
So
Work his way back up to the top.
and now,
That way it can be dramatic and a little lighthearted.
So does he start terrorizing? Does he terrorize teens in order to get back at them, like taking some of that anger that he's picked
So
up.
like
from
Spider-Man, when Uncle Bay gets killed, Spider-Man or Bay, Uncle Bay. Wow.
He is
Uncle
Bay.
before anyone else.
That's a combination of Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben, when Uncle Ben gets killed, Spider-Man roams the city looking for a very specific kind of criminal. I think in Amazing Spider-Man they just did it was a long blonde hair and like a tattoo on his neck, with a beard, right? But basically, Chad Kroger from Nickelback killed Uncle Ben, and so Spider-Man goes and gets all the Chad Kroger lookalikes in New York City arrested. And I like the idea of that. Like he's targeting a specific, like, aesthetic of group of kids. You know what I mean? And he doesn't ever get like physical. He just terrorizes them and ruins all their nights because he doesn't think they deserve to be able to have like sweet nights out at the malt shop.
Could this be the malt shop? what year
What
is
era
this?
is it?
It's an alternate universe where we never got out of the 50s, but we developed 21st century technology.
And everyone just goes to malt shops after movies.
Like the one benefit is just having malt shots.
It's a dystopian future where if you don't check in at the malt shop and get your medicine, the thought police will come and kill your cat.
Kill your cat?
Everyone has a cat.
Is it weird that I think that it would be like Ron Howard killing your cat? For some reason, would that be terrifying just to have Ron Howard?
One Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Here, have them all. So, something I was just thinking about is like we can maybe make some log lines out of this instead of fleshing out a full story.
Oh, okay. We come up with log lines.
Yeah, because it could be really tough to like flesh out an entire movie. But I like where this is going.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about it live on the podcast recording.
Yeah, this is organic. We're moving,
keeping it a little loosey goosey.
Yeah, and you can also just like snip it out.
I'm also glad we made him like a boxer, just because I don't know why, but I feel like every kind of old, like aging boxer in every movie just starts wearing fedoras. Like, I just associate it with like Sylvester Stallone always wearing a fedora if he's Rocky.
He is a fedora bro, and I just realized.
Well, yeah, Stallone pulls it off. This guy was just...
screw that guy. I'll fight him.
This guy just like had a bald spot clearly that he was trying to cover up.
Who? Stallone?
Oh no, not Fedorable.
Oh, Fedorable? I mean, it's probably from wearing the fedora so much.
Maybe.
Yeah, we definitely went the fedora man route. Absolutely.
I think that's where we're all headed. In real talk. That's where we're all headed.
That's just like, the idea of going to heaven, like you're wearing like the white robes, like
it's a fedora.
But they give you a fedora at the end.
It's a movie like that, wasn't it? The Adjustment Bureau, where angels wear fedoras.
Are they angels? Or are they just
they're angels,
like FBI angels? Is that
FBI?
Spoiler alert!
Oh shit! That movie came out a long time ago, and no one cared about it when it came out. So you can't spoil it.
Matt Damon was in it.
Matt Damon, Anthony Mackie is God. That's right. God is named Anthony.
All right.
Falcon was God.
So can we use getting jumped story in this?
His origin involves getting jumped.
So is he getting jumped? Is that like the opening of the movie?
I think the opening of the movie is him
the opening
winning a fight.
Winning a fight,
being a boxer,
or it could be the aftermath of the fight. Like he has like certain cuts that he like, because once you're a boxer, like if you get like certain cuts, you really can't like do much because then they could reopen like afterwards. So if like he just gets like stitched up and then like all of those cuts start to reopen once he's getting beat up, that could really fuck him up a lot more.
Could this be in the perspective of the kids? Because
perhaps.
Like, when you told that story, it was super interesting from your perspective.
That's very true.
And so, imagine...
Then we could play with the POV of the movie itself, because he might look like a bad guy who's just to the kids.
That's what I'm saying, because you didn't know what was up with him. Obviously, he was like not a great dude.
He could also be getting drunk because, like, to, like, numb the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, that's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty dope, because then, like, you play with the perspective. It could follow the little kids. Yeah, a bunch of 3-year-olds beat up a boxer. No, the like teenagers end up thinking that he's just gonna assault them, so they defend. They're doing what they think is self-defense, but turns out he never meant any harm, and it was just a big misunderstanding. But they still beat the hell out of him. Or like,
What if
maybe they don't even beat the hell out of him. One of them punches him one way, and he just falls back and like hits his head or something.
What if these guys went to the fight with the idea of beating the shit out of him? Like, they wanted to go there and beat him up. Like, I hear all the time, I don't know any of these fighters that fight, in Vegas or whatever, but, like, you hear people talk, I could fight them, I could beat them. What if a bunch of kids go and they're like, tonight we're going to beat the crap out of this guy, Fedora Man. And when he comes out, they jump him. And then
Jump on him and get piggyback ride all the way to Vegas.
Yes, all the way to Vegas. And they destroy him physically and mentally because of that.
Okay. Maybe he gets hurt during the fight, and that's why he like really gets beat up.
So he goes outside after the fight. He's all kind of messed up, and then gets beat up.
Well, if he's a prize fighter, he'd have a whole entourage to make sure that doesn't happen.
What if he's not like a prize fighter? Instead, he's like
an up and
it's
coming.
it's like a MMA underground thing that he's getting big in.
Okay.
That he's like in the underground scene.
Okay.
He's huge.
Okay.
And so like he doesn't have the protection that a Manny Pacquiao would have.
Or could he be like kind of like fading out of like just like trying to keep a hold of like any fame in that world that he has?
So do we want to go older instead of up and coming? I think getting washed up is better for Fedora Man than up and coming. You know?
So what are you saying?
Like he's just about to become irrelevant. Like he's the old guy in a sport of in a universe of young men, and he's fading out because he just kind of can't keep up anymore.
Did he used to be a fighter, and then is fighting?
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like he was a fighter, had a good career, but now he's kind of on the way out. Sort of like I imagine Rocky was in that, not Creed, but the Rocky movie before Creed, where he was still like 50.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, where he was like 60 and he still needed to wanted to win a boxing match.
Boxing match.
Sorry, I have a stutter.
Well, so what could be really interesting? So he's battling literally in a fight, but he's also battling his age, right? Is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what if he goes into a fight that this sounds a little bit cliche. He goes into a fight that he knows he can't get into. This would be like the opening scene. He goes into the fight. It's a young kid. He gets the just shit kicked out of him. And
he literally
then
poops himself in the ring.
Literally, and then goes outside. And when he gets outside, then to add just that cherry on top, then he gets...
Maybe he's pissed because he lost a fight, and he picks a fight with a bunch of teenagers who beat him up.
Ooh, what's it called? What if, to like fuse your story more into it, like he goes to the bar to like drink, like because he's still in pain, and the teenagers like recognize him from it, and they start to like be like, oh no, I could take you, and like he doesn't want to do it really.
Yeah, you barely did anything in that fight.
And then like they get him later on and like kind of force him to fight, but he's like, I can't do this right now.
Maybe they like try to pick a fight in the bar and he beats up the leader, and then the leader comes back mugs him outside.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Because that's just like your story. Because Schmaner stood up and was like, "Yo, shut up!" And they were all like, "Oh, you want to fight?" And he was like, "No, we're in a movie theater." And like, "Oh," and then they left.
Just gibberish.
I'm gonna hit you now because you said that.
But yeah, like the guy's trying to pick a fight. Our main character's like, "Oh, okay, you want to fight?" Schmap! And he punches him right square in the schnoz, decks him in the schnoz, and the guy, falls out in his crone. He's like, "Oh shit!" And then they wait outside of the bar for him, and they beat him up after he gets out.
Okay, I love that.
Sweet.
Okay, so then from there, he's not allowed to fight anymore. Is that because
maybe he gets in trouble because he was fighting outside?
So what? If
a lot of like labels don't like that, or label. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I know from talking to my one boxer friend that they really don't approve of that, like fighting out of market kind of thing, because it brings a bad name to the sport. So like he would get in a lot of trouble with his agent and his manager for doing that. even if he was kind of just defending himself. He put himself in a situation where a fight was likely to happen, so it's his responsibility to know and check himself instead of putting himself. You know what I mean? Like, so that would mean that he might lose his label or whatever, his sponsors, and not be able to fight in that ring anymore or that series anymore.
The kid could also, the kid who he fights with could have also been underage, and he actually did hit him. Like maybe he had a fake ID and got into.
I like that. Well, like maybe he's just so angry from the fight before that he doesn't think and beats the crap. Well, fights the kid. People notice because he's at a bar, and he maybe goes to jail. He beat up a young kid.
Like the kid will still get in trouble, but like his career will be ruined.
I like
the image of him getting out of jail in the next. Well, how long would you go to jail for something like that? I don't know.
I mean, if witnesses like testified that it was a mutual thing, I can't imagine it'd be that long. Probably like a couple weeks.
What if it wasn't? What if people didn't notice and all they saw was him just beating the crap out of a kid?
Then he'd be in for a couple years.
Okay, well, then what if he... So that would be a reason for him to come out and drink.
Well, that's true.
I'm just picturing him, like, coming out of jail. Like, they give you, like, all the stuff that you came in with. It's like one fedora.
Pair of sunglasses. Beard on your neck.
It's a fake beard. You just had a fedora and a beard.
No clothes, though.
I think that's a great opening. I think that's perfect.
Cool. So what's the journey he goes on as a character? Do we want him to be the main character? So I think we've decided he's the good guy.
I think we just even though we were
sorry,
saying,
smooth guy Kev.
Yeah, I think we just roundabout went right back to him.
I mean, let's be real. Not So Fedorable was the star of that story.
The guy that he beats up could be smooth guy Kev.
Yeah, it could be. There we go. We'll get smooth guy Kev to play him. A guy driving a Harley.
It's funny for me just because he boxes and just, I don't know. Kev's just a fun name to use in any film.
Okay.
Smooth guy Kev, that's his in-ring name.
So is this a redemption story?
I think so.
Okay. So,
maybe he finds the kid that he got in a fight with at the bar and tries to make amends, and then they become friends, and he ends up having a positive effect on the little kid's life. They mutually help each other. Maybe the kid's a hooligan. You know what I mean?
I like that. So he's been messing around as well.
What's that movie that just came out with Bill Murray, the kid, and I think her name is Octavia Spencer?
Oh, James, do you know this?
You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Saint Vincent?
Maybe.
Is that what
Bill Murray?
Yeah, with Bill Murray.
That was like the last movie he did. I don't know what else he's been doing. I know what you're talking
You know what
about,
I'm
but
talking
I
about?
never saw
Saint
it.
Vincent.
Is that what that was?
Is that what it's called?
Did you
Well,
happen
that
to see
seems
it?
like what it's about. Like he's the crappy bad guy, great uncle or grandfather, but he has a positive effect on this young kid, who then in turn has a positive effect on him. I like that story, and I think it could work really well with what we're building right here.
Yeah. What we should figure out is where he gets to by the end. So if he's gonna be redeemed, is he gonna be fighting again, or is he gonna realize that
I think he becomes a coach.
Okay.
Or
is this
something else?
Verging on cliche though?
Well, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think any movie about a boxer at this point is kind of cliche.
That's true.
I think what we could do to make it not so cliche is that it doesn't ever involve boxing again for the rest of the movie.
Okay, I like that. It's not a boxing movie.
It's not a boxing movie.
I was
He just
gonna say,
happens
like,
to be
okay.
a boxer.
What if he does come upon that kid again? Like part of his release is he has to attend anger management classes.
And they're both there.
Yeah, and
That's what the kid had to do anger management too.
Mm-hmm.
That I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
or he has to help people not fight to learn how to learn how to avoid fighting.
Okay.
He becomes
he realizes how
what is that,
destructive it is.
mediator? Conflict mediator.
Is that part of his parole?
Yeah, I dig it. He gets put into a community center where he takes a bunch of classes and has to learn about all this hippy dippy bull crap that he never really needed to care about before, but really takes to it. And one of the kids that he ends up working with is the kid that he got in a fight with.
Love that. I think that's great.
This is becoming a pretty good movie, I think.
And plus, it won't be Southpaw or Creed or
By
every
Miramax,
other.
starring Robert De Niro and Tom Holland.
Tom Holland? Is Tom Holland the old guy or the kid?
So the next part, no, Tom Holland's a Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, so let's just get Tom Holland to always play a Queens kid when he's not from Queens.
Oh shit! Now we got him going.
He's not from Queens. I just want Spider-Man to be from Queens. Is that so hard?
Dead ass.
Yes, dead ass.
No
though.
one cares. James,
my guy. Everyone
James,
cares.
My guy.
Oh my god.
Who would you have picked to be a Spider-Man, James? Was there another?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I asked him
I
that same
love
thing.
to see that Spider-Man.
I'll just shave my beard.
Just shave it. I'm Spider-Man.
I got compared to Tobey Maguire all the time. I'm soft-spoken enough, I think.
Okay, so I like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
I love Tobey Maguire's
Oh
Spider-Man.
god, he's
Tobey.
not a good Spider-Man.
He's so Spider-Man.
He's so Spider-Man.
Okay, he's a good Spider-Man. Sorry, good Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Crappy Spider-Man. Just like Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man and a crappy Peter Parker. Tom Holland, so far, seems to be doing both, even though he's like more attractive than both of them, objectively speaking, because he's a minor, I think, and I need to be careful what I say.
He's
35.
Oh my god. No, he's like
He's like
18.
2021.
He's what?
He's like 2021.
Okay, never mind. He's my age. I can fuck him and it won't matter.
Yeah, you can.
You hear that, Tom? I'm coming for you.
Because Tom is listening. Also,
What if he's our only
also
listener?
that noise every time you hear that is Tyler slapping his legs. Yeah, that's why it peaks. It peaks. But yeah, so I think we have a story here. This kind of worked better than I thought it was going to work.
Oh,
way better than
you
I
didn't
thought.
have faith in our creative ability?
No. Not at all.
Me neither.
So let's. I think this is an interesting way to create a story. Now, I like to preface this that we're going to have to try to write something, and we're going to try to write something. What we create after this may not be exactly this, but the point of this is to get inspiration and to create something.
And it's also one of the things that we wanted to do, pretentious as it may be, is sort of put to audio like someone's creative process. Now, everyone's creative process is different, but this is how we make things. We sit around and we bullshit, we make jokes, and we brainstorm, and then sometimes a good story comes out of it. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to share that with people who might have a lot of ideas in their heads for great characters or interesting story moments or stuff like that, but aren't sure how to like put that to page or get that out in a concrete and effective way. And that's sort of what this podcast is supposed to be. And we'll all grow together over the next few weeks and months and hopefully decades. We'll be building a podcast.
It's not going to be that long.
No, it's not.
We better not be in this closet that long.
But yeah, over the next few weeks and months, we'll hopefully grow together, and we'll get better at being entertaining for you guys, and hopefully by listening to us, you guys might get better at being storytellers.
So you can rate this like a 1 out of 5 to start.
Yeah, because this is the first one, and we know it's going to suck.
And then from here on, we'll be like maybe a 3-star by the end.
Yeah,
of this.
hopefully.
Even 2.5, because I have mixed feelings about how this went.
So let's recap. What did we create today?
Oh, did you write? Yeah, you wrote that on. He wrote that on his notes.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did.
There's nothing. It says sink clogged. This is the other notes from today.
What?
Sink clogged, runs out inside. I don't even know what that means. We could talk about
notes of shit that we have to go over with our
that
landlord.
could be another fun way of creating a story.
Does he just open your notes?
Open your notes and see what weird stuff is in there and create a story out of that. But anyway, okay, so we have Mr. Fedorable, right?
Not so Fedorable.
Not so Fedorable. He's a fighter, and he goes out this one night to go fight wherever he fights in Queens, and it has to be Queens. So
James is so happy our first story is taking place in Queens.
he goes to fight. He gets.
Oh God!
You missed your mouth.
Yeah, well, you made me laugh, and now I dribbled.
And so he gets the shit beat out of him. And this is not a normal night. He's kind of old. He was fighting a young kid. And so... Bless you.
I'm so sorry.
So he goes to a bar next door after the fight to care for his wounds through drinking alcohol.
Solve his problems
Solve all his
with
problems.
hard liquor.
And did we decide on the same kid? comes back? Is it the same kid?
It should be someone who kind of resembles him because he's already kind of pissed that he lost to someone who was much younger than him.
So,
like kind of baby-faced looking.
Yeah.
So it's a young guy, young tough kid that thinks he's tough, goes to fight this
So maybe
guy.
the kid who played the older brother in Jurassic World is the boxer who he loses to, and then Tom Holland is the kid he beats up in the bar.
Okay, I like that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and so...
You hear that, guys? Guy who played the older brother in Jurassic World and Spider-Man, be in our new movie that we haven't
Let
written
me
yet.
just call up Tom Holland right now. I'll get him a restraining order for you.
Oh, no!
And so he beats up the kid, and no one notices the kid try to punch him, but they notice him beat the crap out of him. So because he beats the crap out of him, he gets thrown in jail, however long that would be for assault.
A
long time. And when he gets out, he's destroyed because his career of underground boxing is gone.
Maybe not underground. Maybe he was doing pretty well. Maybe he was doing okay.
Okay, so
Maybe it was legal.
legal.
Let's at least say it was legal.
Okay, so
Feels like we're trying to be cool. Be like, yeah, underground boxing.
No,
We don't know shit about it.
I already did one of
this
those.
is a David Fincher movie.
I already did one of those. Don't need to do another one.
Okay, so he loses his boxing license, and but
Has to go to the BMV.
So more or less, he turns to alcohol.
That was terrible, and I'm
And
glad no one reacted to it.
I missed it.
I said he
completely.
has to go to the BMV, but it should have been like the DMB, the Department of Motor Box of Mucho Boxing.
No, continue.
Anyway,
Where is the Department of Motor Boxing?
Department of Motor Boxing.
Where is the motor boxing?
Right next door
Right next
to
door?
the BMV.
The BMV. What's the BMV?
The burrito
Yep.
munchers.
Okay.
Versace. Please kill me now.
Okay.
Just putting words together.
I want to die.
We can edit that.
Okay,
Right?
no, we're keeping that in.
Oh, please leave that in.
So
Keep the struggle.
part of his parole is going to take anger management classes and teaching an anger management class
At a civic center, community
at
center.
a civic center. And
Honda Civic.
one of the people in that group happens to be the same kid that he beat the shit out of.
Oh, beat.
Boom. And by the end of it,
They're lovers.
they're lovers. They come together,
And he goes to jail again for having a relationship with a minor.
and
I hope he's not a minor at this point.
he's
If
He
it's
was
few
never
years
a
in jail.
minor. He was a boxer. Da-da-da-ba-da-da.
But yeah, he could be teaching. He could be trying to teach this kid in particular, to not use violence.
To solve his problems.
Mhm.
That could be an interesting thing, too, because, like, that would offer conflict, because the kid would be like, what? You're literally here because of violence and your inability to say no to it. So I like that. I dig that.
Yeah, it'd be a bigger challenge for him if he's literally looking at the reason why he's in jail and like kind of the source of like his anger for all these years and seeing if he could just let it go.
Dig it.
love it.
Way to go,
And
guys.
so I think how we should end this, and I know we had said like maybe we don't need names for characters. I think we should create a name for the movie, just like a fun name for the movie right now.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
And that's how we end this.
Do you want 15 minutes of stumped silence?
No.
Okay.
All right. So I think this is the end of our first try at this podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for fighting through that.
Trust
Fighting.
me. Oh, there we go.
Fighting through it. That's the name of our.
Fuck yeah.
There we go.
Fighting through it.
I
That's
was
the name.
just
of
about to say it, but I was too busy thinking about how horrible that naming attempt went. And I was contemplating never creating anything again.
What would you name it? All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, we'll have a second one of these. We'll see after we edit this.
Thanks
All right.
a bunch.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.